Great to be here, actually, in double roles. First of all, in my formal role as Chancellor of this campus, to welcome you to our wonderful university, and secondly, of course, as an experimental physicist with appointments in both the physics department and in the Department of Material Science and Engineering. Before I start my formal remarks, I just have to say I'm taken by the very first quote from Louis Alvarez. I'm convinced that a controlled disrespect for authority is essential to a scientist. I've become a world's expert on disrespect for authority. and only if it were controlled. So throughout the day, you'll hear perspectives on Louis and his work from many people, themselves highly distinguished scientists who knew and worked with him, as well as from those who have been influenced by his work. It's well known to all of you here that Louis was an extraordinarily brilliant and talented inventor and scientist. And the purpose of the symposium, of course, is to go beyond reviewing and celebrating his accomplishments. It's an opportunity to reflect on and learn from his career. And as your program states, and I'll quote, "The symposium will provide insight on his extraordinary ability to innovate, accept great technical and professional risks, choose the important problems, and find and lead his associates to make unprecedented contributions to many areas of science and technology."
Could I have your cell phone?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
It's interfering with the mic.
Sure.
This one is
Okay, thank you. As all of you also know, this was especially just having come back from a trip to Korea, Japan, and Shanghai just a few days, China a few days ago, that we have a broad concern that America is losing its lead in technology and innovation. As you know, and actually it was already hinted at, our country was fortunate in having a number of great industrial research laboratories, of which one was Bell Laboratories. I happened to be fortunate to be there during peak period where I remember going to tea in the afternoon, and there were about 25 people who came to tea, and since that time, about 5 of them so far won the Nobel Prize, and probably more. So we had phenomenal institutions which have basically disappeared. And so this means that the future of science and technology in the United States now rests solely with our great national laboratories and our great universities. And we are the institutions that have to produce the changes that are not evolutionary, but revolutionary. That's why today I think it's especially notable, because obviously Louis Alvarez was a revolutionary thinker, not an evolutionary thinker. In his lecture upon the award of the Nobel Prize in 1968, Louis said, and I really love as an experimental physicist this remark that he made. He said, "Most of us who become experimental physicists do so for 2 reasons. We love the tools of physics because to us they have intrinsic beauty, and we dream of finding new secrets of nature as important and exciting as those uncovered by our scientific heroes." And at least for me and for my own career, I cannot imagine a better quote, actually. He was especially pleased that the Nobel Committee had honored both aspects of his work at the Lawrence Radiation Lab and at the University of California. And he said, the quote was, "The observation of new group of particles and the creation of the means for making those observations." This process remains at the crux of revolutionary scientific discovery. And Saul Perlmutter's, one of Rich's students, recent Nobel Prize, and therefore Louis' grandson, scientific grandson, honored not only the discovery that the world was accelerating, but the painstaking technological process of measuring the distance of stars by teams of researchers through which that discovery was made possible. In his autobiography, Alvarez, Adventures of a Physicist, Louis recounted an injunction from his father to sit every few months in my reading chair for an entire evening, close my eyes, and to try to think of new problems to solve. I took his advice very seriously and have been glad ever since that I did. In my own personal life, it was doing that while driving between MIT, which was 25 years of my life, which got missed, and Brookhaven National Lab. And it was the one time I could actually be alone and daydream, doing exactly what Alvarez recommended. Well, actually a few times, near-death experiences. He also constantly challenged his own ideas, leaping to a conclusion, then striving to find evidence to refute it, which I also like very much. Throughout his life, Louis rejoiced in being associated with the very best in physics, in industry, and in government, and showed his students how to become top scientists and to be entrepreneurial. He took full advantage of being at Berkeley and understood that preeminent research and teaching universities like UC Berkeley are in a unique position to produce the next generation of great scientists and technologists for our nation. And if he were still here, I have no doubt that Louis would be urging us today to look at the endless and exciting possibilities for the future. So thank you all for attending. Have a great day. And since we have big game tonight, I have to say, go Bears. Go Bears.